Hey YouTubers, this is Dave Funk. I was just listening to Tom Horn, Steve Quayle. They had this awesome video presentation. They were talking about, of course, Bible prophecy in the end days, and in particularly they were dealing with and talking about, I want to say it's Isaiah in chapter 14 and 15. And here's where we need to be real careful about, how the English language translates into, or is translated from the original text. And in there, they're talking about, in the original text, the Raphaim, okay? And what's really important about this is in Isaiah, as well as other texts, Isaiah 14, the original text, it talks about the Raphaim being part of God's final judgment upon the earth. And the Raphaim are actually, they are giants. So, in essence, to be scripturally accurate with the Old Testament and the language that it was written in, it said that I will use giants in exercising the final judgment that is to come over the ungodly and do not love God, and this will be part of it. And there's also a conversation that happens between God and Satan, where Satan is allowed, to utilize entities to also carry forth that judgment. Satan's allowed to do certain stuff. Reason being, people choose not to. They made their choices to not serve God. Thus, they are subject to I'm just going to call it rules of engagement. If you don't want the protection of the Lord, you don't want to utilize His tools, and stuff like that, then you are subject to the rules of engagement, which means I openly put myself in enemy fire without defense of the tools, the weapons of the warfare, because they're not carnal, they're mighty in pulling down the strongholds of the enemy. So let's get back to this. The Raphaim, that is an Old Testament word for the giants, and the Bible also calls them, in many references, refers to them as dead, because in essence they are. They're not living proper creatures that we would recognize as being normal, beings. They are entities that are of a unholy offspring. In other words, they are abomination to the Lord. So, little bit of research here. Look and see what the original texts are. Sad thing is, not everything translates properly. It's like it's correct, but it's not precisely correct. It needs to be further, explained. It's like this one: those who believe in Jesus will be saved. Well, Satan believes in him, so is he saved? No. You need to go back to what the original word believe means. It means to trust in, rely on, and cling to his teachings. So if you're clinging to his teachings, then if Christ came to destroy the works of the enemy, how is he doing it? He said you must first bind the strong man, yada, yada, yada. Demand sevenfold. The word believe just is a whole lot more in the original text than what that is. So, that's just been I've listened to that video several times. Again, it's Tom Horn, Steve Quayle, and they're talking about the final judgment, the end times. Isaiah 14 and Isaiah 15, it's in there. It talks about the original text, the Raphaim. This is very crucial and very important, people. So when you start seeing some weird stuff going on, you're going to know why. There's actually stories about giants that were encountered through a place called Kandahar in Afghanistan, and certain soldiers were killed, impaled, their cameras were confiscated, and then the dead carcass was carted off in a C-130, and there are some pilots that are attesting to that. This is big, people. This is very, very big, and it's very important. The average Joe, the average pastor, sorry, it's true, they don't want to talk about this stuff. You know what? You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This is way more interesting than a lot of the Bible studies I've been to. God bless you guys. Find the truth. Seek it while it yet may be found.